to each of these mics. Alright, so welcome to our Gen 4 Retrospective panel. I am Foley. I want to give you a quick rundown on My Little Pony. How many people are new, by the way, to Everfree Northwest? This is your first Everfree Northwest? Alright, keep your hand up if this is your first convention ever. Yeah! Yes! Let's round of applause for these folks. That's good to see you. So, I want to take you all back to ancient days of bygone lore, really, a period that only the oldest amongst us still remember. This is the early 1980s. In this dark period, again, that only the oldest and wisest and handsomest and manliest of us remember. Dusty Chan, everyone.
Yay!
So in this period, a woman named Bonnie Zachary decided that the toy line at Hasbro, My Pretty Pony, needed to be smaller and more colourful and more personal. Hence, in 1982, My Little Pony came about. Fast forward, to the mid-90s, you have a lot of people who have grown up on My Little Pony. It's become a major part of their childhoods. They've loved the shows, they have loved the ponies, they've made up their own stories, and one of these individuals happened to be an artist and an animator who was coming up through the ranks. They'd worked on the Iron Giant, they had worked on Powerpuff Girls. Woo! They worked on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And then, of course, in 2008, 2009, they started working on, well, something that would come out in 2010 and would kind of revolutionize My Little Pony, so much so that we're still talking about it 12 whole years later.
Gen 4 will never die!
Damn right! Much love, of course, to earlier gens. We will be talking about them a little bit, but this is the Gen 4 retrospective panel, so we will be talking about the one and only Friendship is Magic, made by the one and only Lauren Faust, and an incredible team of artists, writers, creative people who really came together and made something amazing. Not Larson? No, you're quite right. We love Larson. But with that out of the way, I want to go ahead. Dusty, also, I'm just standing here talking, sitting here.
Yes, but you're so good at it.
It's just the accent. It
is the accent.
If I sounded like I was from...
Get your job on. I could pull these out to you, though.
I was getting guff earlier for trying to do a really bad Australian accent, so...
Oh, that one?
Okay, hold on, that was me trying to do a southern. I'll do the Australian later because we have more important things
to do.
We have more important people to bring up on stage because we have 5 voice actors from Gen 4. Yes. Do you all welcome them to the stage? Please join me in giving a huge Everfree Northwest welcome to Kelly Sheridan. A huge welcome as well, please, to Andrea Lindman. And what con would be complete without Marika Hendricks? The voice of the one and only Big Macintosh, Peter New.
And Vincent's going to be a little late.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not here.
Vincent will be joining us on stage, so...
He'll be joining us in a bit. Oh, maybe. Yay!
You should have a seat and a microphone.
Yes.
I think you do.
I will move over.
If we miscount it, then it's Dusty's fault.
Yes. I'm 6 feet.
Looks good. What's in that envelope?
Something very flat. Get close.
So, because I'm on stage, I'm going to take my mask off, but thank you all for obeying the COVID protocols out there in the audience. Thank you for staying safe and being sensible. We do appreciate it. Remember, their voices are their livelihoods for these wonderful members here, so let's make sure that they stay safe as well. Now, I want to kick things off, again, this is the G4 retrospective, but I want to talk about how folks up here came to Gen 4, because a few members up here were involved in earlier generations. In fact, I was looking through IMDb. Kelly, I'm given to understand that not... Yeah, sorry, with that setup, how could it not? Gen 1, the last TV/film entity of Generation 1, 1992, My Little Ponytails, was your first screen credit?
It might be. I think I had a few guest roles on things prior to that, but IMDb, that just didn't exist back then. The internet didn't really exist back then, barely. So yeah, that was my first series. That was my first big job as a kid. I was playing Melody on My Little Ponytails.
Fans of Melody and My Little Ponytails?
Yeah,
Good. Fast forward a little bit, and Gen 3 came about, around from 2003 to 2009 is the generally accepted period for Gen 3, Gen 3.5, and a few more of our wonderful guests were involved in Gen 3. Andrea, I'm looking at you, and Marika, I'm looking at you. You were both in A Very Minty Christmas. So I would like to ask you three, just to kick things off, how those experiences really prepared you for Gen 4. And
anything really prepare you for Gen 4?
I mean, I can share a little anecdote. I remember that was the first, I think it was the first time I met Tabitha. And I was like, oh, she's good. That's my big memory for that. I think I wasn't that, what year did you say that was?
That would have been 2010? Oh, wait, sorry, Gen 3, you're talking Tabitha, so that was 2005, 2006?
I think that might have been, I had just moved to Vancouver not that long before, I think.
It was so different. I mean, if you, as you all know, but if you got the script for that versus Friendship is Magic, there's just no comparison. They were such completely, it's the only thing they had in common were the fact that they both have ponies in them, but other than that, that's kind of about it, because the previous ones were just very
saccharine?
Yes. Yes, it was
maybe not the most generous.
Over the top, sweet, cute, no conflicts, no. Versus, I know when I went in to read for Friendship is Magic, it was, whoa, look at these character descriptions, look at the detail of what these characters, someone with the vision that Lauren put together, yeah. And so, okay, this has the same brand, but other than that, it's totally different.
So let's, do you have anything to...
Oh, I think you put it beautifully.
Can I just say, it's interesting. I have such a nostalgia for my childhood, and it was original Ninja Turtles, Strawberry Shortcake, Transformers, G.I. Joe's, Thundercats. But then I go back and watch old school He-Man, and I'm like, yeah, for 10 seconds. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I can't really watch it anymore. I'm like, do you guys feel the same way? Old school kind of cartoons.
You've actually anticipated my next question.
Oh, there you go. Good
Thank you for
segue.
the setup there. Because I wanted to ask, aside from those of you who were involved professionally in earlier generations, I wanted to ask all of you, and Dusty, you as well, because you're up here because you are really the bridge between the fandom and the professional world of Pony. And we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, it's been a thing.
But my question for all of you is, was My Little Pony a part of your lives growing up, and to what extent? And obviously, this is a question to all of us, because Pony is for everyone.
I couldn't turn it off fast enough.
Facts.
Yeah, I was a child of the 80s, so I was there for the first incarnation of My Little Pony toys, and that was one of the first things I bought with my, we were talking about allowance earlier? Yeah. It was one of the first things I bought with my allowance was, I can't remember what she was called, but she was the green pony, before they even had cutie marks. And I went to the Bay with my mom and got a little jewelry set and a My Little Pony. Yeah, and so I played with them as a kid. Transformers, all that stuff.
I loved Rainbow Bright.
Oh, yeah, Rainbow Bright was good.
Anyone?
Yes.
One person.
I was thinking Light Bright. But
Oh, Light Bright.
Light
Yeah,
Bright.
I have one of those currently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I used to watch My Little Pony, and but it was like just like I would watch anything really, but it was like My Little Pony and Hush Puppies. I think it was
Yeah.
Pound Puppies. I think
Pound Puppies.
That's right, Pound Puppies. And yeah, like totally an '80s kid.
What about the Disney lineup, like Chip
Oh
and Dale?
gosh, Disney Afternoon.
Rescue Rangers.
Gargoyles, yes. And DuckTales.
DuckTales.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite, DuckTales. Tailspin.
Tailspin,
Goof
yeah.
Troop.
Darkwing Duck.
I am terror that flies in the night.
Hated.
Bonkers is trying hard.
I love Bonkers. We talk about it.
Of course you would.
I was more into Clutch Cargo, a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff from that era.
Yeah.
So most of that, again, He-Man from that era.
And Hercules?
Hercules in the Herculoids.
Yeah. Hello, Herc. That's my Herc. There's two voices back there.
I think this one.
This one.
Like Frank Welker.
The Herculoids, remember that one?
No.
With Lupin's Leap? Oh, come on.
Oh,
What's that one?
Sounds like Hercules and hemorrhoids. That's all.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. They had these two little, it was pretty,
do you remember Jem?
oh yeah.
Jim is excitement. Ooh.
I think that was the first female show I ever watched with Jen, because of music.
Yeah, there's songs.
It's
Yeah, I didn't.
really outrageous.
You didn't watch Truly?
Well, I didn't play with the little thingies, but
The ponies?
yeah, but I remember them.
They always came with a
People
comb.
had them.
And I always chewed. I put everything in my mouth now.
Still true. We had lunch.
Truth. This is true. It's delicious. Sorry, Paulie, we're getting.
No,
A
you're
huge omelet.
It's the sign of a moderator that I can really keep everyone on topic of Gen 4. No, it's great. It's fantastic that you're all such lovers of animation as a genre, and then you'll come to this wealth of genuine love of all of these cartoons, and then you get to actually make that kind of joy for other folks who are coming to, say, Friendship is Magic for the first time.
It would really be weird if we were like, cartoons are dumb. It shows this amazing career. Like, yeah, cartoons, I don't watch them, whatever.
So, Friendship is Magic. Andrea, you've already touched on this, the fact that when you went in, it was very different from anything that you had read before. But really, for all of you, what was your first experience like recording this show? Your first experience on the show? And I want to kick this question off primarily with those of you who were there at the very beginning, which is Andrea, Peter, and Marika. So yeah, tell me about the process of booking Pony when Pony was not this huge cultural phenomenon, but it was just Gen 4 and all you know of the franchises, what you grew up with, and what you may have worked on previously.
Well, it was a long time ago. But I remember at the start, it was actually quite intense, which might surprise you, because as you go on in a show and you become really comfortable with your characters and your colleagues, it just turns into so much fun. And of course, we want to get the show done as well, but everyone's feeling really comfortable. When you start a show, it can be quite tense. The first day is you've booked it, but nothing's ever certain. They have to see who's going to sound good together, and especially a show with 6 women voice leads on it. So it was trying to see what was going to play, what was going to work. So there's a lot of adjustments, and it was tough work. I would say for the first, at least half of the first season, it was really working hard to get it right. So it was. There's always that lighthearted side of it, but it was like really focused. Lauren was there in person, and it was, let's really make this perfect. And so yeah, we worked hard.
It's Lauren Faust, but
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I remember that too. Like when I came in to do to play Gilda, they were really making sure that
Hold on a second. You say Gilda and no one cheers for Gilda?
You can boo for Gilda too. Which actually was kind of interesting because so Andrea and I were recording that scene when she was Fluttershy, and I remember thinking like, the stuff that she's doing is so amazing, it's just so adorable, and then I'm doing that screaming and I thought, that's not going to go over too well. So,
It was good. It was a perfect contrast.
pardon? Look where you are now. I know, here we are.
They were actually fighting backstage.
That's why I'm sitting here.
So yeah, we really had to make adjustments to make sure that like what I was doing for Gilda wasn't sounding like what Ashley was doing for Rainbow Dash. We had to really sort of make like tweaks and things like that. I think primarily just because of the nature of the slight gravel to the voice that Ashley has naturally, and I was just adding for Gilda. So we did have to, like Andrea said, they were really, there was almost like mathematical precision going on sometimes.
I think I came in episode 4 or something. So, thank you. So, from my perspective, everything was already really established, which was interesting. It's interesting to hear that from you. But I also was just happy to have the job.
That's always true.
And the thing that sort of I remember is, because I come up doing cartoons and film and television, and the number of times you get told in film and television, oh hey, well you're going to get to be this, paramedic #1 on this show, and maybe in the future you'll be the paramedic every time we need a paramedic, so you'll be coming back, and then you never hear from them again, right? That's the sort of standard. And so when I got Big Macintosh, they're like, well, he's going to be Applejack's sort of, wiser older brother who maybe doesn't say that much, and maybe he'll come back. And I was like, yeah, sure. Here we are. So I was just happy to come in and do my best for one episode, and I just didn't imagine I'd ever hear about it again.
And then you've done 30 different voices in the show.
30 different voices in the show, and I don't know how many episodes.
So, at what point did it crystallize for you three that this show really was becoming something really quite special, not just on page with some amazing people involved in its creation, but also that it was resonating with the audience in a way that previous generations had not necessarily done?
It was when my Facebook fan page, which I started just because I thought my friends were bored of listening to me talk about my auditions, it went from like 4 people following to 5,000 people following overnight. And I was like, something is happening. And then people were like, hey Peter, do you clap? And I'm like, I guess I'll Google it. Okay, this is bigger and deeper than I thought it was.
We were recording season 2, and our director Jason came in. Said, have you heard about it? Have you seen it? What's happening online? There's these fans and people are really into it. And we're like, Jason, what are you talking about? Like, what happened to Jason? Like, woo! So I don't think any of us took him seriously at all. We're like, what kind of weird internet are you on? But didn't even cross my mind. I was just, okay, we were so thankful to be having a season 2 and no clue of what was going on. And then it was these requests, oh, can you come to an animation convention in the UK? What is this? And that's when it started to, but I think you really have to, it's not until you experience a convention that you really believe the power.
The charge.
And now I think you've experienced 49 of them, Andrea?
Oh, wow.
Did you count?
But that's a spreadsheet.
Whoa.
But Dusty, I'd like to bring you in on this, because at this time, yes, the fandom was growing larger, and because these people are absolutely wonderful, they are interacting with the fans on social media and making themselves available for interviews. The fandom is growing, fandom podcasts taking shape, and people are paying a lot of attention to them. And here comes the manliest brony.
At that time, right, 2011, 2012, I get this call from a guy named Final Draft. Because I showed up at EFN to basically watch Mando Pony play. And all of a sudden, the whole chat room goes nuts. Oh my God, it's Dusty Guy, it's Dusty Guy, it's Dusty Guy. What the heck's going on? Because I'd done one video that everyone liked. So, hey, we want to give you a show. What? What would I do in a show? And then Dave Roney, my friends, happened, and the rest is history. And then I got to be able to interview all these wonderful people, right? Because I just wanted to do David Letterman without band, which is what my show was. It's like, I need people to talk to. And they were so receptive to come and talk to me. And then I could get that when people couldn't go to a convention, right? Which was the whole thing I wanted to do. It's like I wanted to bring these people to the masses who didn't have the money or to fly to Seattle or wherever to basically meet them. And it just took off, and everyone loved it, and it was great. And then I became friends with these people. And then all of a sudden they say, hey, you know what, you got a voice, you could try this too. And all of a sudden now I'm voice acting. And now I'm doing books, and I'm doing YouTube shows, I'm doing all this kind of stuff. So me being a fan became, I can do this, just like they can do this. And they encouraged me to do this. And almost everybody who's come up to them and said, hey, I really want to be a voice actor, they don't say, no, you can't. They say, give it a shot.
I say that to like every third person.
Okay.
Whether they're good or not.
I was number 6.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I pay you money for lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have paid this man for lessons twice. And actually, we had one project we were working on where I was doing a complete season of recording from my house, and he was our voice director. And basically, I had them on the screen while I'm doing my stuff, and we had one line that I just could not do, right? Remember? And he was just basically, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. I put 15 takes, right? And finally he said, okay, we're gonna move on a little bit. And I thought I'd failed him. I really did. And then I came back, and when we did another 2 or 3 scenes, he said, okay, we're gonna go back to that line. And I nailed it first time. First time. So, all of these people are wonderful people, and basically them encouraging you guys and me to be who we are and what we do is just amazing, you know, from back in the day. And they continue to do it today. Even though the show is gone, they're here. They don't need to be here. They've got other projects, right? They haven't done this for 5-6 years now, maybe 7. But they're here for you, and please be grateful and appreciative that they do come and see you.
So, the show is getting very, very popular, and fandom is exploding. And then a villain character comes along. A character who causes all sorts of division in the fandom. And of course I'm talking about Flash Sentry.
Discord. Discord?
I'm sorry, Vincent, I have to apologize for that. The amount of times
I thought it was Feather Bangs, actually.
called a waifu thief, I'm sure you're sick of it by now, so apologies.
Yes, no worries.
Well, he played 2 waifu stealers.
I think I played
He tried
plenty.
to take their Feather Bangs tried to take this one's waifu away.
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
But I do want to, on a serious note, talk to you about your experience coming into the Gen 4 franchise, not directly through Friendship is Magic, but coming into Equestria Girls in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was that like, entering the franchise at that point, and by sort of a more indirect route, if you like? Because we'll get to your involvement in Friendship is Magic a little bit later on, but as Flash Sentry, and especially with the mixed response.
Yeah.
How bad was that?
Well, yeah, I was very excited. Well, when I did my first character was Prince Blueblood, of course.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Yes, another waifu stealer.
Oh no.
So like,
Take it
yeah,
up on that.
I think they were like, who can we get to play the most hated characters ever? My Little Pony. Vincent will do it. So yeah, and I don't think it started well from the get-go for me. But then I was like super excited because I did musical theater with Ashley Ball for many years before all the voiceover stuff. So I was super stoked to get into My Little Pony and work with all y'all. And I was like, holy cow, Andrea, your voice is phenomenal. She's like, thank you. I'm like, okay. You sound like that. And so I was just like in awe of all these ladies. And then I was like, when I got Flash Sentry, I was like, okay, he's like a bigger part. He's like, you know, talking to Twilight and stuff. And then I was like, oh, it's coming out soon, it's coming out soon. And I'm not sure when I talked to you, Dusty, about, was it before or after?
It was before he came
Before.
out, because we talked about the other ones.
Prince Blue Blood. Yeah, we couldn't really talk about
We couldn't
Flash,
talk
right?
about it because it hadn't been released yet.
Yeah.
You were on my show and said, oh, something's coming out.
That's right.
You watch it?
Yeah.
I was like, really? Oh.
And I was really excited to meet you and
Yeah.
talk to you because you were like the bridge for us to the fandom, like you were saying. And I was like, you know, the dude with the mustache. I'm like, I gotta meet this guy. So I was super happy to be on your show.
Yeah, and then we went snowboarding.
That's right, baby. That's right. And so, anyways, so I'm super pumped. And I think I'm going to Brony Can right after it got released, the Question Girls. And I was like so excited to look up, like, oh my gosh, let's see if we can get some love for Flash. And it was just like, who is this guy? I hate him. I hate him. And I was watching, I think I jumped onto some like live stream of someone watching it, and every time the Flash came out, they're like, no! It was just like, all like the talk was just like, there's like angry faces, like, I'm gonna get killed at this. I don't know what's gonna happen to me at this convention. I was like so looking forward to it. I'm like, no, why? Why do people hate this guy? He's such a sweetheart. So yeah, I was a little scared, man. I was scared to go to my first convention. I was a little freaked out, but people came up to me and were like, I'm not going to get anything signed, but I just want to tell you that you stole my waifu. I'm like, I don't know what that means, bro, but I'm so sorry. And then people came up and were like, hey, that's not bad, man. You're a cool guy. I'm like, oh, thanks. And then I started getting it. And you guys are hilarious. And like to jab in the nicest way possible. But yeah, it was a rude awakening to this fandom and how fierce you guys can be. But I love you guys. I love the Brony fandom so much. You guys are amazing. And honestly, we wouldn't be here. You know, you were saying that, how did you feel before this thing became a phenomenon? It's all your faults, really. It really is. All of you guys that have been watching and supporting this show for so many years is what's created this thing to be what it is now, to have a Gen 5. Like, how powerful are you guys? Very powerful. It's amazing.
So, fast forward another couple of years, the show is doing amazingly well, huge audience, it's coming back for season 5, and now we do have the entry of a genuine, I'll call them an antagonist. Villain is a strong word, but certainly an antagonist. And of course, I'm talking about Starlight Glimmer.
Villain's appropriate.
So,
Slaving an entire village, trying to take over the world.
yeah, okay, villain.
Destroying the
yeah.
space-time continuum.
I was trying to be kind, you're sitting right next to me.
No, she was mean. She was real mean.
The Russian marching song was a thing. You know, the Russian marching song. It was a thing.
So, at this point, you've been in Gen 1, you've been in Gen 3, and My Little Pony is pretty solidly established in the Vancouver voice acting community as a pretty hot gig. Had you been angling to get, I mean, angling's not the right word, had you been hoping to be on...
Hearing outside the studio door.
Like, oh, there's Kelly again.
Every day.
Had you been hoping to be on the show, and what was it like to get
Are you
the Starlight
kidding?
Glimmer
I
gig?
auditioned for every single female role on that show, trying to like bust my way through the door. Yeah, I was really stoked. It was awesome because it was, like you said, the hot ticket in town. All my friends were on it. They were getting to go to all these conventions and meet everybody, and everyone was talking about how much fun it was. So of course I wanted to be on the show. And I thought, great, I got 2 episodes. Awesome, that'll be sweet. And that'll be it. Cool.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, so I feel incredibly fortunate. I had no idea Starlight was going to have this huge arc and become a reoccurring character.
New Twilight Sparkle!
Aren't you so glad you didn't get those earlier?
Oh yeah, the sort of the one-off kind of things. Yeah,
Meant to be. We have to remind ourselves of that because it's always
Yeah.
a bummer because we're auditioning all the time and it's easy to get bogged down, but then it's usually it works out.
Yeah, you're kind of meant to get the parts you're meant to get. So I don't even know what else to say about her. I've had so much fun playing Starlight. She's amazing. Who else gets to like play this huge arc where you go from villain to struggling ingenue, trying to figure out how to be this better person, to like this kind of authority figure.
Helping other people.
In a good way. Not in the original way, she was incredibly.
I think everyone's had a lot of fun witnessing that arc and the way that you've played the character through that arc, right? So, since we're now in the height of pony fandom, since we've got Equestria Girls, many films, since we've had several seasons of Gen 4 at this point, I want to do the favourites questions to all of you. Rapid fire here. So, first off, favourite character, not your own.
Granny Smith.
Played, of course, by the wonderful Tabitha St. Germain.
Fluttershy. And Brit singing that song. What's it called?
This day aria.
Thank you, Matt.
Maud.
It's a toss-up between Fluttershy and Gummy. I love Gummy.
I would have said all of those. I'm gonna say, well, I can't say that because that's my own now too. No, you said not my own. Right? Not my own. Because I was gonna say Discord, but then I ended up playing Discord. Damn it.
That's fair. Not your own in Gen 4.
Oh, okay, Discord.
Justin?
I wasn't on the show.
Fuck, you can still answer your favourite character.
The ones that are tattooed on my body, of course. Dashi! Basically, I'm a simp for Dashi and the Wonderbolts. So also the Spa Twins. So. They don't get enough love. They don't. The Spa Twins are awesome. You should watch them more.
Let's throw it back down the line, coming this way from you, Dusty, for favourite episode.
Ooh, favorite episode. Really weird, because I think my favorite episode is one I really don't like all that much. Which is the one, yeah, it's the one where Rainbow Dash actually becomes a Wonderbolt. Because I waited for years for that to happen. And it's like, and it finally happened. But it didn't happen my way, right? In my head, the way it should have happened. But I still like it, kinda. Because it happened, right? And this show had arcs for all the main characters, and they all happen. How often does that happen in a TV show where the arc actually finishes for one character, much less all six? It's awesome. So I think, yeah, I think go with that.
Brotherhood Social.
And it's been a while. It's okay if you don't remember the titles. You can just go with
The one where.
yeah, the one where you can go Friends style.
I don't have one. I know that's a terrible answer.
Even
But
where,
I do like the one where she sings.
even where Gilda makes scones.
She makes scones.
I don't remember this.
Your big brother has to remind you all the time.
I have no brain.
That's true.
I was going to say, surely your favourite episode must be the one where Gilda returns in 2015, and you get to redeem all the nastiness.
That was actually really surprising.
Yes.
Because I just didn't think I just thought it was one thing and then it never was resolved. And people would ask about the non-resolution aspect. So it was surprising when I got the call to do that next episode. So many seasons later.
2 hours later. My favorite, I really enjoyed doing Feather Bangs just because and he had the corniest lines.
And you have to sing with Peter Dick.
I got to sing them exactly. I was going to get to that, sing a little duet with my brother here, and it was so much fun. But in terms of like watching an episode that I wasn't in, it was the one that they jumped the shark. What was that one? The last episode.
Episode 100.
Where they put a picture of that's the one, Slice of Life. That one was crazy.
I was gonna say that.
Were you? I just saw
The
that
100th
you were
episode. The
Googling.
100th episode. The 100th episode. That was a fun one. Well, I really liked Party of One. I liked
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Tanks for the memories.
now that episode 100 has come up, right? So Andrea played, different characters in that episode, and now that all of you seen that episode, I hope. No? Okay. So basically, Larson wrote everything from a fan's perspective, all the fan characters and all the fan canon and all that stuff. So basically, if you have seen it, what was your opinion of that episode, if you weren't in it or if you were in it? That all of this stuff is happening in the background of the main six that the main six doesn't really realize is going on. What did you think of that?
Oh, it was a blast.
Dr. Hooves!
Everyday Pony.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was so fun to work on. I had a whole nother character, and that got cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Speak!
I don't know. I was really excited about it because it was a ridiculous voice, and I can't quite remember it. And our voice director Terry said, "You're not doing that voice, and I was like, "I'm doing it," and then it got cut. So yeah, he was right.
Do you remember what the character was? At all?
Like a leaf, or autumn leaves, or like. I don't know, it was two characters, and it was a whole different byline. They had their own thing that was happening, and it all got. I know. I was like, I can't wait to hear that stupid voice. No.
We'll have to hold down M.A. Larson and beat him until he tells us. Larson!
And that doesn't happen often in our line of work, that stuff is cut. Normally the scripts are written pretty tight. They know like this many pages and this many words and this much action equals 22 minutes or whatever it has to be.
It was a pretty long one.
Yeah, I remember Mitch saying he wrote more than they could actually kind of...
I thought you meant that it didn't happen often that Mitch Larson gets held down and beaten. It
should happen more often.
Now that the show is over, I know a secret. Well, I know a secret about Foley. About Foley.
Oh, God.
In that episode.
Oh, dear.
And I'm going to say it right now. Guess who co-wrote that episode? Who? What? M.A. Larson went to that man when he was...
Wow.
For information about what he should write.
You're like a double E.
Give it up for Foley. Because the show's over.
That is very kind of you, Dusty. It's a slight overstatement.
No time. Take it.
I discussed stuff with Mitch. Yes,
Yes, but you're long-winded, which means you half wrote it.
Fair enough. There is one bit that made it into the episode that I can take credit for. And it was a line that was in there, and I asked for a slight tweak because the reference needed to be made, and it was Lyra's, I cooked them up and ate them. And when I saw that in the episode, I just about leapt out of my chair and yes! But yeah, I'm not going to detract from Mitch. Mitch did an amazing job with that episode. I was glad to contribute an infinitesimal amount to how much that Mitch put into that episode and how much all of the people in that episode, all the amazing work that went into that episode. But it was really a love letter to the Gen 4 fandom, and that as well kind of makes Gen 4 special and unique in the canon of My Little Pony, in that there is this connection between the fan community and the powers that be.
Not only did they give us that episode, they gave us an ending. Right? They didn't have to give us, adult Twilight. They didn't have to do that. They could have ended it right there at the closing of the book. Right? Adult Twilight. They could have done the episode before. Right? They didn't have to give us the wrap-up, but they did. Which was amazing in and of itself in animation. Really. They don't really do that. Sometimes they'll look at HBO Max with this Infinity Train. Out of here. Right? Because we need to save a couple of bucks. Well,
and Infinity Train is so good.
I know.
It's so good.
Hopefully it finds something. But yeah, but look at companies nowadays, HBO Max. We need a tax write-off. Let's just throw all these people under the bus. They didn't do that with G4. Yes, but they didn't do that with G4 back in the day. They gave us our ending, and I'm really happy for it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the ending. I also wanted to talk, of course, about the experience of seeing the ponies where they belong on the big screen with the Gen 4 film. But we're running a little short on time, so I do want to ask how the ending of the show affected you. Not just in terms of, well, this is no longer a job that you're working on, but how did it impact you? And doubly so for those of you who worked on it, recording the lines, but also then witnessing it when it came out much later on.
There was a big gap between those two things.
Right.
I mean, there always is, right? They have to animate the thing. So knowing how it ended and knowing all this stuff and continuing to go to cons, like, it's not going to be out for 8 months or a year or whatever, 9 months probably, in about at the same time to have a baby. But that was hard. It was like, you know, you're always kind of tracking, okay, where are we? Like, what's airing and what am I allowed to talk about? But knowing that, like, oh, I can't say anything about the end. That was tough, especially when people are so sneaky asking questions.
I thought it was a really bittersweet session, right? To be in the room when we were doing it. I mean, I think we were all still having a good time, but I don't know, I felt a real energy of sadness.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was just so surprised. I was like, they're ending it? Why? I was a bit confused. I really was. I mean, I wasn't in it for such, you know, only 2 episodes, but I thought, couldn't this keep going for another 10? I don't know. But...
I know there was a strong desire for folks to see more of, obviously, the Student 6 and Sandbar.
Sandbar, dude! Come on, man!
I know there needs to be a Featherbangs Big Macintosh spin-off called the Big Bang.
Big Bangs Theory. I'd watch that.
I just thought of that right now.
Okay.
That's why you're so good.
The Big Bangs Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Like that.
Who else hasn't chimed in on that question? Dusty, how about you? Yeah, what did it feel like for the show?
Oh, I cried my eyes out. If anybody saw Barney's react to the finale, I cried my eyes out because it's been such a big part of my life, and I've met so many wonderful people that are still my friends to this day. Yeah, big bro, little bro. It was such a big part of my life, and I know I'm old, but it was still a quarter of my life was the show, and it controlled everything I did for a decade, pretty much. I was either doing my show, or I was interviewing these guys, or I was going to a convention, I was entertaining you, doing a charity auction, or whatever, and I was like, it can't end. I enjoy it so much, it can't end. And it won't end, as long as it's here, right? As long as it's in here. Whatever comes, G5, G6, G7, whatever, G7. Pony life. Whatever happens, you know, whether you like it in that form or you like it in this form or whatever, Pony doesn't die.
Everfree forever!
That is, I think, a really lovely note to end it on, unless any of you have anything you would like to offer. Final thoughts on Gen 4, final thoughts on Pony. Andrea?
Happy to be here. Nice to see you.
What are you doing after this? We're going to autographs?
Autographs is
Let's
next.
see us
1:30.
autographs.
1:30, you'll see all these people over there at autographs. So make sure you
Let's
get over there.
So I need to let these people go, but how about a huge round
I don't know if I remember.